Your toilet's on fire? Isn't that technically impossible?
If you're hearing our voices, that means it's time for It's This Meets That, the podcast where we watch the worst movies from trailer and credits scene by scene, so you don't have to, but maybe you should. I'm Russ.
I'm Jared.
And technically, yes, it is impossible.
I don't know. I think you can light a toilet on fire.
You think so?
Listeners?
Let us know. Yeah, let us know. We're not saying you should light your toilet on fire to test the theory, but...
Maybe you should try.
Maybe you should try. Oh, shit.
We're not liable for your toilet.
No, we don't care about your toilet, so...
I care about your toilet.
I don't care. If you do stupid things with it, that's your own business.
Good start. Good start. Podcast.
And we're back with part 2 of our full breakdown of Labor Ponds, the 2009 Lindsay Lohan
flick.
French flick about faking labor
bread.
Yeah, 2009. Lindsay Lohan's movie that she made. It's not good. No, it's not good at all. I mean, if that's any indication, if you were this for part 1, you'll probably know. But if you're just joining us because you thought you were searching for Labor Pains 2 because you were looking for a sequel and you stumbled across this, welcome.
You're in for a treat.
You're in for a treat, and there won't be a sequel. There never should be.
No.
The first one shouldn't even existed, but hey,
yeah,
ABC Family loved it. So
that's right.
All right, so where did we leave off with part 1? We left off with
we were about to go to this new birthing class that's
right.
Our author, pregnancy book author Susie was having. I don't know, was like invited our hero to here.
Yes.
Right? And she's got to bring Nick because Miles is out of town.
And at the birthing class, and it's just Nick being awkward.
From the trailer.
Yeah, because you got to be kind of close with your partner there and be somewhat got to get involved, and he's being awkward. And when the teacher, she's kind of funny,
a little bit.
Like it could be funnier, I think, but it just was yeah. So
it's awkward. It's from the trailer. It's exactly from the trailer.
Yeah, it's all from the trailer. There's nothing going on that's like out of the it's the trailer just extended. That's all. But she's doing the old, like, the teacher's doing the old, like, that sense of humor of like awkward but ignoring the awkwardness kind of thing, like kind of really leaning into it, like, hey, isn't this good? Oh, sorry, Mary. And like everyone else is like, this is not correct behavior, but the teacher's like, not that.
Whisper something to your partner. Could be funny, could be naughty. I'm not listening.
All right.
Okay.
And that's it. And then we cut to the streets and we get a little walk and talk. And basically Nick and Thea are just getting to know each other, chatting about classic dead parents in a car accident, right? Because that's...
is that what happened?
Yeah. She said her parents died in a car accident.
Oh, I didn't hear about the car accident. Her parents died.
She said in a car accident. I was like, oh, that's very, why would you, that doesn't have to be, you could just say they passed away.
Yeah, nice.
So, but that's a classic way for parents to die in the movies. Car accident.
That's right.
Long story short, they're kind of getting
nuts on the sidewalk.
Yeah, and they're kind of getting to know each other and just doing some backstory. Oh, that's cool and it's fine.
He always wanted to be a writer, but instead he's an accountant. Like, what did you do in college? And she's like, well, actually, I was in a metal band in college.
That's right. Right. Yeah.
But I didn't get to finish because my parents died, so I had to take care of my little sister. And
fiery car accident. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, well, sorry, that sucks. And he's like, why don't you come to Susie's having a pool party for the book or something, or just in general, loves pool parties.
Yeah.
You should bring Miles. Come to that party. That was from the trailer. And she's like, great.
Okay, cool.
Can do.
I will. And we're back at home. And sister comes home. Classic.
She's got the belly on, which you got to hide it.
And they basically just kind of give each other shit a bit, right? Like,
yep. She puts a towel on. She's like, why are you wearing a towel already to the pool party that you're going to?
Yeah.
And she's like, don't interrogate me. Why are you home early? And she's like, well, tennis ended early.
That's a little set up the fact that she's not doing tennis anymore. So
Exactly. As
you learn later.
And then they part ways. And it's the scene from the trailer where Miles and Thea show up to the pool party. And she's like, you got to appear to be responsible.
Yeah. Don't be a dingleberry. And what is he? He's an absolute dingleberry.
Yeah.
The whole scene was just so annoying.
Everyone's going to think I'm a super stud for knocking up a hot chick like you.
Yeah.
She's like, that's an example of something you wouldn't say.
They're at a pool party, and it's, again, stuff from the trailer just extended, right? So she introduces Miles to Nick, and Miles meets a couple other coworkers, and he's just sorry.
Friend's girlfriend.
Yeah, sorry, Aaron. I don't know what you're doing these days, but it's not good acting right now. That's happening.
No.
Maybe you've gotten better. Maybe you've honed your craft. I don't know, but it's not here. This isn't.
I'm assuming.
I'd hope. I don't know what else.
If you keep at it,
you'll eventually get better, or you'll find out you'll find out you have no talent, and then you're like, oh. But I mean, really,
he's in Disturbia. He was in a couple other things too. But.
Okay, so maybe he found something. That's good.
Yeah.
In this movie, though, it is not good.
No.
Yeah, and
which is funny because Disturbia came out before this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 2007, and he was like not bad in that.
That was a remake of Rear Window, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or like not a remake, but it was like kind of like the same.
Friend of the pod, Shia LaBeouf.
S Beef, getting it done. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he meets a bunch of other coworkers, and then Nick and Thea meet with some other people who are also authors and written like pregnancy life books, right?
Yep, exactly. Which I hate this guy, whoever he is.
And he's like pressing her, like, "Oh, so who's your OB?" And she does the classic Lohan, like, make it up kind of moment.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, you mean Hans Froggenberg Schonowitz? I thought he moved back to Vienna."
I hate that. I hate you. I hate you.
Classic.
And then like Miles is in the pool, like playing with kids and stuff like this, and he comes out of the pool and he like splashes everyone in the face, and it's like, he's just being really annoying. It's so annoying. He's being such a child. Dick. Yeah, he's acting like a child, and it's just like, dude, just relax here.
He's like, come on, get in the pool. No one cares that you're fat. And then, from the trailer, he pushes her in, which that was something we prognosticated incorrectly about. We thought that was going to be like a turning point in the movie. People were going to discover that she wasn't pregnant then. Nope. Nobody is the wiser somehow.
No, she hides it pretty well because that thing didn't absorb all that water and turn into like a weird little.
Which it absolutely should have.
Yes. Anyways. And then we're back in the bathroom because that's where all things are solved.
The office bathroom with Cheryl Hines, right?
Yeah. And they chat. And I honestly don't know if anything important was said here.
Well, she said she broke up with Miles.
That's right.
Humiliated. And that she maybe is starting to get feelings for Nick because he's the first person in years to think that she's more capable than just pouring a cup of coffee. Like she can do more stuff.
Like washing a dog, yeah.
And then for the first time in a long time, she turns down a cigarette when offered by Lisa, which...
showing that she's kind of mentally all in on being pregnant when she's not.
Seems like it, right?
Yeah. She's drinking her own Kool-Aid. This is about the halfway point of this movie. Only an hour and 28 minutes, which is nice. And then we cut to like a focus group with a bunch of pregnant ladies.
For the cover art of the book, which is horrifying.
Yes. It's military focus with babies and cartoonish, and it's terrible. And they're like, what? Yeah. So Nick is like trying to have this conversation with the focus group women. And obviously, Nick is not very good at talking to people.
No, he's not personable. It's not going well.
Yeah, he's struggling pretty hard. And then Thea, she steps in and kind of takes over and like gets them to open up, and they start talking and like, again, showing that she can handle these situations.
And right when it starts going good for her, turns out Emma is at reception waiting for her.
That's right. Sister.
Because she forgot to sign some kind of permission slip or something.
Yeah.
And so she's still trying to hide her belly because she's at work with the belly. Yeah. And Emma still doesn't know. And so it's a whole thing. And that's when Emma discovers it. What is that? And she's like, well, just because you don't like my dress doesn't mean you have to be rude. Let's go outside. And Emma tells her she's one sandwich shy of a picnic, and this is a terrible idea. And like, what are you doing? And she's like, well, I got a promotion and a raise out of it, and the entire company is now depending on me. But Emma's had enough, and she's like, screw you, I'm going home.
Yeah, Emma is the voice of reason, and actually not terrible. In this movie. And then we get kind of like another kind of montage-y thing.
Total montage. So she's like goes in through the apartment building. She pays the rent early. Landlord's like, whoa, that's a first. She goes into work, and the receptionist made her little baby booties, which you love. That's when Lisa tells her that Nick's divorce got finalized this week, which
gotta clear that.
How exciting. Relevant to her interests, right? And then Greg shows up, and he's got like a calcium smoothie and a bran muffin because he's worried about her being constipated.
Yep.
Which is a whole thing. I don't know. There's like a little scene we're in her office now, and Lisa walks in and she's like, "You're lucky you're not pregnant." And then
Yeah.
the creepy guy from earlier that had a couple of good lines walks in and now does not have good lines. He's like, "I've got this armadillo foot for you on eBay, and it wards off the evil eye. Like, bring it with you when you're in labor."
Okay.
And it's like kind of upsetting.
Lisa is telling her like, "Hey, you're doing good work, and you're getting these things because you're doing good work, not just because you're pregnant."
Yeah,
and you got to. And
it's still
Thea's like all baked in that she is in her head, and she's like playing the part like almost too much, right?
Right. And even though there's a lot that happens here that like kind of moves the plot forward or it's designed to, it's still like this whole run, like it sounds like I'm doing a lot of different things at once. It still kind of feels like a montage. Like, I think. Like, even, like it's a one line.
Yeah. It definitely does still feel like a kind of montagey thing. It's just very strange. But and then Nick walks in, right? And he has some good news for her, signing one of the people that was at the pool party there.
Yep.
And he hugs her, and it's awkward because Nick is just awkward right now. And then we get a call from Jerry.
Yeah, which haven't seen Chris Parnell in a while.
Have not. We get the dog in the back and some wire rack rehab thing. The lady's like working his tail.
Basically, he's just like, "You haven't done anything stupid while I was gone, have you?" And Nick's like, No, everything's going great. I've got this project that's going pretty good." And he's like, whoa, don't do any projects. If you need a project, try Match.com because you probably haven't gotten laid in a while.
Like just reinforcing that. Yeah.
We know. Divorced recently.
Yes. Yeah, we know.
Yep. And then cut to nighttime.
Late night office, and we got them working late. And they basically have a moment. Yeah, pretty much. She cleans his glasses. It's a very coupley kind of moment.
He's basically like, "Wow, I can't believe I'm working a pregnant woman this hard." And she's like, No, I want to be here. And like, thank you again for giving me a shot. Like, it's starting to all work out for Thea, except for the giant lie. But he's like, "You should be home with your fiance, and I'm going to take you home right now, but I'll have high expectations for you in the morning. Don't worry." And she still hasn't come clean about her breaking up with Miles yet, which is going to come back in a second.
Because then we kick into like another montage, the Preggers montage.
Classic kissing booth.
Yeah, she's back at the store. She's picking up some the 6-month belly.
Yep, she's stealing a bigger belly.
Bigger belly, yeah. And then she's like actually buying other things that are related to like pregnancy and stuff like this. And she talks to some lady and connects with her. It's like, "Oh, it's your first one, mine too." And so she's like really all bought in. That's, reinforcing she's all bought in that she actually is pregnant. She's living the lie. And then she goes to the office photo shoot off in the trailer. And they're like, "Oh, get her in front of the camera." Yeah, for the cover of the book. And like, "Oh, you should get in front of the camera." And she's like, no. And then she does. And
Susie insists
that
she gets in the photo. And Nick's like being a real creep.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Yeah, he's like, "Be sexy" or something. Yeah,
he's like, "Make love to the camera."
He's like, "Oh, you don't actually say that." Like, no one says that.
No.
And then we cut to like a quick scene with Susie, and they're having cake somewhere. And
it's kind of unclear like where or why this happens, but Susie's basically like, "Oh, I got this like super rare daycare spot for you too," which is weird because like listeners, the rest of the movie kind of does this too, where they like just make a ton of logical leaps. And like we're saying, this happens over the course of seemingly months, even though it's only 5 weeks really, but it seems like it's a long time because Jerry's going to come back later. He came back a week early, right?
Yeah, it has to be within 6 weeks. This is only taking place over 6 weeks, right?
This is all really quick. But it feels like it's forever, and somehow they're like best friends. Now Susie and Thea are like, "Oh yeah, like I got you this daycare spot, and like go with your gut, and like
it's like
treat yourself to some sugar and shopping." Like they're not girlfriends. Like
it's a little thin to like. I know what they're trying to do, right? To like, oh, she's really cooked in with like the other pregnant crew and stuff like this, and
she's met her like 3 times at this point. It's not seen.
And we cut back home, and we got like the pregnant neighbor comes over and she's like, "Hey," asking the sister if you want to watch, her other kid, and she's like, "Nah, I'm busy." And
Thea's like, also she's taking prenatal vitamins. Thea.
Oh yeah, right.
And Emma's like, "What are you doing?" And then that's when she's like, "Oh it'll be good practice for the baby. I can volunteer to babysit." She offers to take Emma shopping at Forever 21 and make cupcakes together. Which does sound like something Emma would enjoy.
Yeah.
But Instead, she said she'd rather scrub herself with a pineapple. So
yeah, that's painful. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, listeners, do not recommend.
Do not recommend. Lighting your toilet on fire, unclear, but scrubbing yourself down with a pineapple, definitely do not do.
Definitely don't. Yeah,
definitely don't do. All right, so we're back at the office, and we got the other preggers lady. They're talking with Thea.
Kristen, the lawyer.
Yep, she's like totally falling apart, and she's like, "How are you holding it together?" And because she's not actually pregnant. And then Nick just shows up, and he's all rattled, and he's got a bloody nose, or he's got the tissue up his nose, and he looks like he's all disheveled.
Yeah, and a big confrontation with Miles.
Yes, saw Miles kiss another lady, and
and Thea's like, "Don't worry, Miles isn't the father."
Yes, because Miles had told Nick that he wasn't, and then opened a can of worms.
Right, and she's like, "Yeah, it's a whole thing. It was a one night stand. He's out of the picture now. Don't worry about it. Like, we'll just explain that away right quick." So then
Lisa shows up, right?
Yep, and she's like, "Oh yeah, the printer's got a question. You got to get out of here, Nick. You got to go take a phone call." And Thea's like, "Oh, I told him the truth," and she's like, "Oh,
great.
How'd that go over?" And she's like, "Well, like." I broke up with Miles and like, no, not that truth.
Yeah. Like the big one that you're actually lying about. Like,
yeah. And Lisa's like, all right, whatever. This isn't going to go well for you. Let's go get a beer. And she's like, I can't drink.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And then she like struggles to get up out of her chair. And Lisa's like, is your stomach growing? And she's like, well, I'm nearly 6 months now. And you're like, this is not going well.
No, this is not going to. What happens on month 9? What are you going to do then? And we cut back home, right?
Yep,
and Sis shows up, whatever, and basically long and short, she's calling it quit on the tennis thing, right? She's like,
there's a quick in between where she goes to the tennis court.
That's right. Yeah.
And like asks, like, hey, where's Emma? They're like, not here. And that's when at home she confronts Emma about it and says, hey, your coach said that you quit a month ago, and I found this bag of green stuff in your backpack.
What is it? And she's like, it's cilantro. Okay. When'd you do the sniff check? Okay. Have you ever seen a bag of weed before? And then the sister, so then Nick shows up. So Thea's in a shower, and sister comes in.
She's been waiting tables. Sorry. That was just like, she's been doing her cooking dream in the meantime. Like that's the important part there.
Yeah.
That's what the cilantro's for.
Right. So then Thea's in the shower, and then Emma comes in. She's like, hey, your boss is here. Basically, she blackmails her for some money.
So her belly is not in the bathroom with her.
Yes. Yeah. And basically, long and short is she goes out, sees Nick, and he shows her the first print of the book, and it's got a awkward cover of her face on the front. Like, why would you? Who would pick that cover?
And then they booked some like event space for the book launch, and everyone's very excited.
Yeah,
and they're like, why don't we just go get coffee and talk more about the details here?
Yeah, and this is stuff from a trailer. They're in a park, hanging on a bench, and getting to know each other a little bit more, right? And Nick goes on about his previous wife and him wanting kids, and he realizes he wants to be a father. And then, long and short, Thea leans in and gives him a little smooch, and then they kind of make out for again, a little HR nightmare. And then he's like kind of getting a little handsy, and she's like, whoa. And she's like, I gotta go, in a very classic Lohan way. I gotta go, hurried and nervous, and she takes off. So
he's like about to touch her belly, kind of.
Yeah.
You're like,
whoopsies, can't do that.
And then we get a little city transition. We haven't had a strange transition yet in this movie, so let's have one now.
Yeah, fill it in. And then she sees the book in the bookstore.
Yep.
So it's been 6 weeks. And then we cut to the office.
Receptionist is on the phone with someone, and it's apparently Thea's friend. And she's like, oh, she saw you on the cover of this book and didn't know you were pregnant. Didn't you tell her? That's your friend? Yeah. And she's like, oh, yeah, well, pregnancy brain. I probably forgot to tell my best friend that I'm pregnant.
That's right.
And then that's when she goes into her office, and Greg comes over, and Greg's like, I've been waiting to start a family for the right time. And like, you need someone who's responsible in your life. And like, Thea, let me be your baby daddy. And she's like, what?
No. He's got a ring and everything. He's ready to go. So
yeah. And then Nick walks in.
Yeah. And he's basically trying to clear the air about the whole kissing thing, blah, blah, blah. And like, I didn't mean to make a pass at you. And she's like, I made the pass at you. It's okay. It was fine. It was nice, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And then Philip shows up, and this is some guy named Philip. Is that the
What a stupid scene.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
No,
you think it's going to come back later, and it does not.
It does not. So this is Lonnie Ross. There, he shows up, and he's like, he thinks it's his kid.
The timing lines up pretty good. It must be mine, right? I demanded DNA tests. I did the math.
And she's like, get out of here.
Yep. And like that's it. Like that's when Emma calls, and it's like, oh, the toilet's on fire. And she's like, well, I got to go. The toilet's on fire. And Nick's like, that seems impossible. But it's a ruse.
It is a ruse. It's all a ruse. So just remember that. If your toilet's on fire, it's probably a ruse. So
it could be a ruse.
It could be a ruse. So we're home, and it's a surprise party. Surprise baby shower. Surprise. Yep. And the
surprise.
She's just not having it.
Betty came all the way in from Seattle.
It's such a far ride from California, Seattle.
I know. And then she's opening presents, and it's like a weird onesie, and Emma gives her one that says she's a liar, which is not funny, but they like kind of play it. They're like, oh, ha.
Yeah.
I don't understand what this has to do with the plot. And then
we get the raid.
Shows up.
We get the raid. Yeah. This is when the raid happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Lisa shows up, and she's killing the party.
Yeah. Lisa's like, everyone hang on to your seats just in case something happens to her story in the next few minutes.
So then the sister and Lisa are with her in the bedroom, and they're like, you got to come clean. You got to come clean. And she's not having it. And she's just got all this baby stuff. And there's like, this is crazy. Yeah. You got to call it, right? And then
from the trailer, she's like, I'm better pregnant. Like everyone's treating me nice. I'm getting a promotion. Like I'm finally succeeding in life, all because I'm fake pregnant.
Yes.
I got to keep the dream alive.
And then the sister snaps, and it's just like, and she starts tearing up the fake stomach thing.
Yep.
The baby bump. Yep. She just tears it apart. And then they fight, they struggle, they fight for a bit, and then she tears it up, and then that's it.
Which this I have questions about, because she tears up the 6-month belly, the new belly.
Yeah.
Why didn't she just put on the last one? Like that would have been better than what she does in a minute.
I think it was just to show that she's
in a rush.
Yeah, and she's kind of losing her brain about this whole thing, right? But I agree. So. Logically, she just could grab the other one and just call it a day, but she doesn't. So she runs out to back to the baby shower, not pregnant anymore. Everyone's kind of like, what? Because everyone was listening to them like argue and fight, and then she runs out. She's like trying to fit a pillow underneath her stomach, and that's not working, or underneath her shirt. And then she grabs a balloon.
Yep.
Puts that under. I'm like, this is gonna. You know how this is gonna end.
Yeah. And then basically all our relatives are like, I thought she was pregnant. And the neighbor lady had a nice line here. Is like, well, that's the last time I throw a surprise party for anyone. That big ZD is coming home with me. Nice. Shout out to Big ZD.
So we're getting close to the end here, and we're at the book event.
That's right.
We got a balloon. We got a balloon for Belly, and company launch book party here.
Yeah, and Nick kisses her in front of Susie, and Susie's like, "Whoa, what's that about? Good for you."
All right. And then
looking up, except that's when Jerry shows up.
Jerry rolls in. Nick's about to do his little speech and do a little reading, and then Jerry shows up, and he's like, "This isn't happening."
He's like, "Great news, everyone! I just signed Donald Rumsfeld's new book." It's like a cookbook / memoir about his time in Iraq, and it's called Fired Up, and it's going to be awesome.
Oh my God.
So let's do a quick reading from Rummy's book right now. It's a short rib recipe from Baghdad.
So then Nick and they basically just fight, like actually physically fight.
Yeah,
first, they're like kind of going at it, and he's like, you're nothing without me, blah, blah, blah. And then they actually physically fight. And then like she kind of breaks up, whatever. And then the boss says something about her and is like, yeah, you're nothing more than whatever. And kind of shits on her.
The world's lamest accountant is running my company with the world's dumbest secretary.
Like, I don't think he kind of, yeah.
She's not a secretary. She's an editor now. And he's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. And then
that's bridge too far for Thea, because she takes a swing at Jerry, and Nick's holding her back and breaks the balloon.
Oh, pop goes the weasel.
Yeah. And everyone is just like, what
the heck is going on?
Yeah.
And then Nick is like horrified, and she she's like trying to back her way out of it. And Nick gives the classic line in all these movies and these moments where he's like, what kind of person, insert terrible thing the person did, line.
Mm-hmm. In this case, pretends to be pregnant.
Yeah. What kind of person pretends to be pregnant? You
hate to see it.
For
months. Or weeks, I guess. That's the thing. Like, and that's the thing too. The timing is all off here because Jerry gets back a week early. So it's been 5 weeks, almost exactly. And then like, while like the rest of this, like when we're going to get to it in a second, she's like down in the dumps and whatever. And people are like, well, you've been lying to everyone for months now. And you're like, she hasn't been lying for months. It's been a few weeks. Still not great, but like, I don't know. The timing is all off. Something doesn't make sense in the script here.
No, we're missing a little time log. But hey, you know what? Yeah. We'll suspend beliefs.
Yeah, I guess so. We have to.
You have to for these things. But I mean, what kind of person does that?
Yep.
So then we have a sad montage-ish, kind of. Like these aren't, again, they're kind of weird montages. So the sister's gone.
She gets home. Her sister's staying with Chloe.
Yeah. So bottom of the barrel. She's lost her friend. She's lost her love interest. She's lost her job. Mm-hmm. This is it. It can't go any further than this. She's, lost her fake baby,
That's right. Leaves a bunch of voicemails for Nick apologizing.
The classic. Yeah. Let me call a million times, leave all these voicemails. Yeah. And then Lisa shows up and classic fashion. The house is a mess.
It smells like something died in here. And she says it did. My soul.
And I love how like, she's like, I'm the worst person ever. And like, Lisa's like, hey, people make mistakes. I don't think this is like,
yeah.
This isn't like you had a few too many at like the company party and you said something maybe a little stupid. This is
right. This is you actively lied to everyone for weeks and weeks, and you're on the cover of a book now, and it's a whole thing.
Like that's not just a mistake. That's kind of like, hey, maybe you should move.
Yeah. Which Lisa's like, look on the bright side. They're still talking about it at work. And Thea asks like how Nick's doing, and she doesn't know because he resigned.
Yep. And then the book
sales are pretty good,
but not good enough because there's a bunch of boxes left to distribute, so it's not doing that good. So
exactly.
A lot of problems to solve here and wrap up.
So we're going to do a montage.
I mean, why not, right? And it's kind of weird. It's like this is part of the start of the apology montage, but again, it's not really a montage, but it is. So she goes to high school, right? And it's the sister's in a culinary class.
Yeah, they're like little, like I feel like your classic montage, like a kissing booth montage, is normally just activity with music behind it.
Yes.
These are like activities with music behind it, but also just throwing in a line or two here and there, like very quick scenes.
Yeah. It's as if because like each of the scenes weren't enough to like carry just being on their own, but they need to be pooled together. So
apology should have been half an hour.
Yes. 100%. So she starts the apology tour montage and lesson learned thing here. And she goes to high school first and visits the cooking class that the sister's in. And she's like, oh, that pie, it's pretty good. What's that, mint? She's like, yeah.
Dad would have loved it.
Mint's great. Dad would have loved it, but he's dead now because of you.
That's right.
So she apologized. She's like, hey, I reached, looked up for, getting loans and stuff like this for you to go to school, the culinary school in San Francisco. So sister's happy.
Scholarships,
stuff like this. So
Thea goes to distribute some more boxes.
Yeah. So then this is the fixing things, kind of rolls from the apology to fixing things. Then we got the sister making her a pie in the kitchen. And then basically there's just like over time, she keeps visiting the Vista Janine Garofalo's show, and she's like out with like all the fans like signing stuff, right?
And so that's the pineapple cake that Emma baked, thankfully.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh yeah, well, if you had watched the behind the scenes situation, then like you would know that she loves pineapple cake because like everyone, there's a bunch of people there trying to like get on the show.
And right? I think I can't remember if this is a safety tip. I think it's in there somewhere. Might be further down, but I don't know. Maybe it is where you don't take pies from strangers, I think.
Never take pies from strangers, especially if you're a famous person and there's a creepy person on the sidewalk giving you a pie.
I think that's the extra piece, right?
Yeah.
You don't take.
I know you love pineapple.
Yeah, you don't take that pie. You don't.
Nope.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't know which number that one is, but
yeah. No, thank you.
No, thank you. So then, so she's making her pies, and she just keeps making her pies and keeps showing up, and like, oh yeah, and then Janine Garofalo's character is like starting to remember her name, and is like, oh yeah, that's my biggest fan, and more pies, and then she's like, oh, what are you trying to sell me? Like and your sister's like, pies, and she's like, no, I don't want my sister in a show. I want this book on
TV.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. Like, well, that was easy.
That was easy enough. So,
yeah.
And we're at Susie's house, right?
Yep. Somehow she ends up at Susie's house, which you would think Susie would be mad at her, and she is.
Yeah, she is. And then she goes into labor.
Yep.
Susie. Yeah. And she was going to bring her on the Vista show because she wanted, and then she's like, basically, this is now a montage of her rounding up like a bunch of preggers' friends or people that were pregnant and or have kids or something, right?
Because Susie can't be on the show because like they want her there in 2 hours, which is ridiculous.
Yes, that's not gonna happen. So, and then kind of pulling everything together here. Emma goes and picks up Nick and is like, "Hey, you have to come with me right now. Don't make me explain it. Just come with me." You know?
Yeah. And Nick's like, "What?
Yeah. Why is the person that I used what sister here? What's going on?"
Yep.
So we're on the Vista show. Nick hasn't shown up yet, and they're like, "Oh, we got to get everyone on here. What's going to happen? Nick's going to do a speech, whatever."
Yep.
And they're like, "Forget it. Thea, you got to do it."
Yep. Roll on the show with the other ladies with babies, and they're interviewing Thea and telling stories about being pregnant, and it's like the funny things and whatever else, and they're like, "But Thea, why would you put out another book about pregnancy? There's already a million books about pregnant, and like you've never been pregnant. So like, what do you know about this?" And it's so annoying.
It's so annoying. It's like so on the nose, but like the analogy parallel between like her lies and like all the stuff she's done and like doing a parallel to like the book. I'm like, I've learned my lesson speech.
Yeah. Exactly. And because Nick is like walks in then. And so he gets to hear her whole kind of apology thing. That's not really an apology. And at the end, she tells him like, it was Nick. He's responsible for the whole thing. He believed in the book. He believed in me. And Jeannie Garofalo's like, all right, everybody clap for Nick. Let's get that handsome guy on a mic. And so like, Nick, like what appealed to the book about you? Like what do you think? And he does the same thing.
Yes.
It's wicked annoying.
It's so annoying.
Well, if you love someone, you can forgive them for all the crazy and idiotic things they do because love is a leap of faith. And sometimes you just have to jump, which he's throwing love around here. Now, again, this has been over the course of a few weeks. She lied to him for weeks. Like,
like, what?
It just gets wrapped up so neatly. Like we're steamrolling to the end here.
Yeah, just powering right through. So then Janine, she pushes the book on the show and she's like, "Hey, check out the book, blah, blah, blah." And that obviously that's gonna be a win, so that kind of buttons that up too. And then we're post Vista post show and they're hanging out, Nick and Thea. And before Janine Garofalo leaves, she's like, "Hey, I just heard my producers say
you got 100,000 hits
on the link on the book's link." Wowza.
You're like, people don't say that, even in 2009.
Yeah, 100,000 may have clicked on it, but how many actually bought it?
Exactly.
What's your conversion rate? That's the number we want to know.
4.
Yeah.
And so then Nick and Thea have a little backstage talk. And she's like, "You know what? Thank you for being you and giving me a shot and whatever else. And then I'm sorry that this is over." And he's like, "Well, what's over?" And she's like, "Our togetherness in general." He's like, "Doesn't have to be."
And then there's another
one.
And it's like I hate like the parallel, the symbolism, the metaphor. What do you want to call it? Of like making a book together to making a baby. I'm like,
well, I think it's just making their relationship because it's going to be 2 years until they have a baby.
Sure. Yeah.
So they kiss and the lights shut off. It's stupid.
Yeah, and they're locked in there forever.
Yep. I think that's how movie studios work. TV studios.
Yeah, you're just trapped in there. Once the lights go off, that's it. You're done. That's right. And then 2 years later.
Yep.
So we're back in the office. We got Greg showing up with a smoothie.
The same normal office, like nothing has happened.
Nothing has happened at all. And she's in there and she's looking at books and doing work and whatever. Jerry comes in. The whole crew comes in. Jerry comes in. He's counting.
Yeah, well, Greg's smoothie is because he's worried that she's backed up because you're like, oh no, wait, she might be constipated. Is she
actually pregnant? I mean, obviously, yes. And Nick's in there, and then Jerry comes in. He's timing her contractions. It's like, why? What are you?
So weird.
What are you doing?
Why do you like her all of a sudden?
Yeah,
I guess it's been 2 years. A lot could happen.
Yeah, I guess a lot could happen. But yeah, everyone's there. The whole crew is there, and they're all happy. And then she actually goes into labor, and that's the scene from the trailer where he's pushing her in a wheelchair. And the whole crew watches her go out and out the front door.
Like, are you ready? And he's like, let's hope so. Love you. And then she just says, this is all your fault. And that's the last line. She tells Nick it's all his fault.
It's not. Oh my God.
I hate this movie so much.
This is I think bottom of the barrel for us. This is it.
Yeah.
We've hit it. We've hit our sad montage moment.
Yeah. This is rock bottom.
This is absolute rock bottom.
Give me Clontergeist or give me death.
Any day of the week. So that's it. The end.
Should we ameliorate? Try to fix this?
I don't even know. I mean, where do you begin?
Shorter, even shorter. Or actually, no, you know what? Make it twice as long.
Make it like a 3-hour-long Scorsese kind of movie.
Yep. Make it a 3-hour Scorsese joint. Make Jerry gone for longer. Make it a more serious injury to the dog. I don't know.
Yeah. Yep.
He's got 6 months of rehab, maybe, so we can play out the full pregnancy instead of just a few weeks.
Yeah.
Make the lie go on for longer. Like, I think you just lean into everything way harder. Like, it feels like they got a draft of the script and they were like, all right, well, if we just write a sentence about each of the events, then that's plenty.
That's right? Fine. Yeah. I know this is tough and very subjective, but make it funnier.
Yep. Put jokes in. Good idea.
Put some jokes in there. I know it's a very rudimentary studio note, but I'm going to throw it out there.
Yep.
Actually have it be funny.
Yep. Give Greg more lines.
Yeah. I guess you could do a little more commentary of maybe women in the workplace and pregnancy, maybe,
Yeah.
And still maybe satirical or do something in that vein. I don't know. It just felt like, she's pregnant.
She's kind of message.
Yeah, something. It just felt like, I don't know. It had nothing.
Yeah, it was just schlock.
Yeah, pretty much. It's definitely an ABC family movie in 2009. So
yes, I mean, I can't believe that they were going to put this in theaters. Like, unbelievable.
Yeah, well, someone had changed their mind and was like, no, probably not. But
I can't believe it was in theaters internationally. It made almost $2 million.
Almost covered the cost. Not even close, actually. Not even close.
If our estimated budget is to be believed.
Yeah, and maybe I don't know what else is there.
I don't think there's much else you can do.
Yeah,
this is unfixable. Don't bother.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, just don't even bother. Whoever was like, you know what? Let's make this move. Whoever greenlit this, I hope. No offense. I hope you're just not working. I hope you're doing something else.
Toss the script.
Toss the script. Yeah,
not every movie gets to be made.
Yes. Yeah. I'm all for people making their art, but sometimes don't.
Sometimes don't. Yeah.
Sometimes
your art might be bad.
So I don't know. That's all I got because this is
same.
There's no recovering from this. So
nope, throw it out.
All right. Well,
listeners, don't watch this one.
Yeah, do not watch this one. But I think that's it. We're gonna wrap up this third trimester here, right? Because we're in it. We're out of it now. We have birthed. Right. We have birthed this episode, baby.
Yep.
Real one. It's real. It's not fake.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with a new movie. And that's it. That's all I'm going to tell you right there. But in the meantime, follow us on Instagram. It's This Beats That, right? ITMT Pod on Twitter. Subscribe wherever you're listening. And share with a friend because that's what you do in the new year. Have a New Year's resolution. Listen to more of this and share with a friend. So
couldn't agree more. And while you're sharing with your friends, turn over a new leaf, share with some strangers, and leave us a review online. You can do that on Apple or Spotify, wherever. 5 stars would be nice. Maybe a comment, or if you want to give us actual feedback, another turn over a new leaf, so we have something to talk about in fan service. You can send us an email. It's thisbeatsthat@gmail.com, or go to the website. So much information. Everyone loves information. This is the information age, right?
It's all about information. If you don't have the information, you have nothing. So
that's right. And where can you get that information? At our website. It's thisbeatsthat.com. T-shirts, book stuff, cast and 250 plus episodes. So much content.
Yeah. Meet the squad, meet the team that runs ITMT, you know?
That's right. That's right. It's not just me and Russ as much as you think it is.
It takes an entire empire, really.
That's right. It takes an empire to raise a baby, as they say.
That's right.
This means that.com.